Hello, my name is Betsy Wood, or Beatrice Wood more formally. I would like to invite you to take a look at a paper that will appear in the December issue of Family Process. I believe it is already available in preview. It's called the Biobehavioral Family Model, MAP and GPA for Training. Several years ago, when I was in training at Philadelphia Child Guidance Clinic, I was puzzled by the constructs, really metaphors of boundary and enmeshment, and I struggled to understand how to apply them. Coming from a family culture of English and Germanic emotional reserve, enmeshed families actually looked appealing to me. I wanted to find out what it was about enmeshment or disengagement that mattered, for better or for worse. I had earned my research degree at the University of Pennsylvania Department of Psychology, where I was taught the importance of concepts and theories that are constructed so as to be testable and refutable. I decided to try to clarify and specify the construct of boundary. And I wanted to study the impact of these aspects of family relational functioning on child emotional and physical well-being. So this required developing operationally definable constructs and testable hypotheses. Over time, I evolved and tested with NIH support what I call the Biobehavioral Family Model, or BBFM for short. It is a specific model in the biopsychosocial framework, and I applied it and demonstrated its validity in the study of the effects of family relational stress on children with asthma. Subsequently, Sarah Woods and her colleagues have adapted the BBFM to study family effects on adult health and illness. To test the model empirically, I developed a 6-task family interaction observation called the Family Relational Assessment Protocol, or FRAP. It provided for the measurement of each of the 6 BBFM dimensions. Some years later, I discovered that this assessment approach was very helpful in teaching family intervention to child psychiatry fellows. It allowed them to actually see families interacting together in a wide range of emotionally evocative discussions while being, quote, behind the mirror, so as not to distract or interfere with the family's natural process. For the first-year fellows, this was not only informative, but it reduced the anxiety of trying to manage a family interview while trying to perceive the patterns of interaction underlying the family relationships and discerning how these patterns affected the identified patient. The BBFM, with its specific systemic constructs, served as a useful map, helping them to perceive and understand how the family relational process was affecting the child or adolescent. This helped identify relational targets for intervention. This paper covers the BBFM and the FRAP in the context of training. The approach has been applied successfully by Sarah Woods at the University of Texas Southwestern. The approach there was modified to support training in the context of family medicine clinic. Such programs do not have the time to conduct the full family assessment protocol, but Dr. Woods applied the underlying intent of the FRAP and the BBFM to observations during clinic visits in which at least one significant other family member was invited to accompany the patient. I believe that this application illustrates that the BBFM may be applied usefully in a wide range of clinical training settings. Furthermore, in working with the non-MD clinicians in our Office of Mental Health Clinic, I find that this model and approach is also useful in enhancing the work of experienced clinicians. Therefore, I feel comfortable in offering the BBFM and FRAP as a possible map and GPS to support both training and clinical work. I would like to introduce a potential next phase of application for the BBFM. This model and assessment have been usefully applied in Turkey by Yudum Soyamets in the context of family therapy training in a PhD program. This pleased me because in developing the constructs and definitions of the BBFM model, I intentionally turned to ethological constructs, for example, affiliation and dominance, to develop family dimensions that would be the most generally applicable across race and culture. However, another Turkish colleague, Güler Fişek, tested an early version of the model and pointed out that while the proximity or connectedness dimension could predict child emotional status, the hierarchy dimension did not, because there was too little variability in hierarchy among the families. The Turkish families at that time in the 80s were all highly hierarchical and paternally led. This, along with a critique of one of the reviewers, made me think of potential application of the BBFM to explore differential patterning in family cultures and subcultures. The reviewer challenged my contention that I had developed BBFM constructs that would be applicable across culturally. For example, this reviewer stated that the BFM definition of family connectedness was not applicable cross-culturally. It was pointed out that families in some cultures are more interconnected than families from other cultures, so that one cannot infer what is functional level of connectedness across culture and race. I agree with this. And also, I have observed that the manner in which families instantiate connectedness differs from culture to culture. This line of thinking excites me because now I would like to propose that the BBFM model and dimensions could usefully be a framework to examine cross-cultural patterns of family relationships, with the specifics and functionality of each dimension of the model identified culture to culture. Furthermore, the FRAP interaction protocol could be one method of beginning to observe these differences, accompanied by qualitative interviewing and analysis. How useful this could be. I would like to invite anyone who might be curious about embarking on this exploration to contact me. Thank you for your interest. I welcome contact from anyone who would like a consultation in applying the BBFM and FRAP to their practice or training program, or to use it to study cross-cultural differences. Thank you.